जय राधा माधव जय कुंज बिहारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय जय गोपीजन वल्लभ जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय जय यशोदानंदन जय व्रजनरंजन जय यशोदा जय यशोदानंदन जय व्रजनरंजन जय यमुनातीरवनचारी जय कुंज बिहारी जय हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Radha Vrindavan Chanda, Radha Vrindavan Chanda, Radha Vrindavan Chanda, Shri Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Gauranita, Shri Shri Gauranita. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotara Shatasri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacarya Ashtotara Shatasri Srimad, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय. श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय. ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय. मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की जय. श्री क्षेत्र पुरुषोत्तम धाम की जय. पंढरपुर धाम की जय. गंगामयी की जय. यमुनामयी की जय. भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय. गोलोकेर प्रेमदन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Welcome all the devotees to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning. So we are reading today from Canto 5, Chapter 13, entitled with Raghuna Converses with Jadabharat, text number 21. Rajo Vacha Aho Nrijanma Kila Janma Shobhanam Aho Nrijanma Kila Janma Shobhanam Kim Janmabhisto Aparairapamushim Nayadritsikshe Shayasah Kritamatan Nayadrishike Shayasah Kritatmanam Mahatmanam Bha Prachuras Samagama Mahatmanam Bha Prachuras Samagama Rajo Vacha Aho Nrijanma Kila Janma Shobhanam Kim Janma Bistvaparairapi Amushmin Nayadrichike Shayashah Kritatmana Mahatmanam Vaha Prachuras Samagama. Rajo Vacha Ako Janma Kila Janma Shobhanam Matajis. Okay. Whatever meaning, translation, and prepared by His Divine Grace, Abhayacharana Arvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Whatever meaning. Rajo Vacha, King Rahagana said, Aho, alas, Nrijanma, you who have taken birth as a human being, Akila Janma Shobhanam, the best of all species of life. Kim, what need? Janma Bihi, with births in higher species like the demigods in the heavenly planets. Tu, but. Aparaihi, not superior. Api, indeed. Amusmin, in the next birth. Na, not. Yet, which. Hrishikesha Yashaha, by the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hrishikesha, the master of all senses. Krita Atmanam, of those whose hearts are purified. Mahatmanam, who are actually great souls. Vaha, of us. Prachuraha, abundant. Samagamaha, the association. Translation: King Rahagana said, this birth as a human being is the best of all. Even birth among the demigods in the heavenly planets is not as glorious as birth as a human being on this earth. What's the use of the exalted position of a demigod in the heavenly planets? Due to profuse material comforts, there is no possibility of associating with devotees. Purport: human birth is a great opportunity for self-realization. One may take birth in a higher planetary system among the demigods, but due to the profusion of material comforts, one cannot gain release from material bondage. Even on this earth, those who are very opulent do not generally care to take to Krishna consciousness. An intelligent person actually interested in getting freed from the material clutches must associate with pure devotees. But such association, one can gradually become detached from the material attraction of money and women. Money and women are the basic principles of material attachment. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore advised those who are actually serious about returning back to Godhead to give up money and women in order to be fit to enter to the kingdom of God. Money and women can be fully utilized in the service of the Lord. And one who can utilize them in this way can become freed from material bondage. Satam prasangan mama virya samvito bhavanti hritkarna rasayana kata. Bhagavatam 3:25-25. Only in the association of the devotees can one relish the glorification of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. Just through a little association with a pure devotee, one can become successful in his journey back to Godhead. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuron Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. King Rahagana said, this birth as a human being is the best of all. Even birth among the demigods in the heavenly planets is not as glorious as birth as human being on this earth. What is the use of exalted position of a demigod in the heavenly planets? Due to profuse material comforts, there is no possibility of associating with devotees. Hare Krishna. I'm seeking the blessings of all the Vaishnavas. So I think this is the shortest class which I prepared for. So just yesterday I got the information. And yesterday's class was supposed to be. And there was a miscommunication. So, but nevertheless, the verse is very, very user-friendly verse, which everybody was familiar with this verse. Human form of life is, as Rahagana is describing about, that human is the best of all. out of 84 lakh of the species which Krishna has given us an opportunity to elevate our own self. So this is the last and final of this human form of life, the one who can utilize this. And what is it meaning of the utilization? Grabbing the auspicious association of the Vaishnavas. And when we mean to say that association, there is no meaning of the Vaishnavas, because association means Vaishnava association. As Prabhupada says that bhakti means can be performed pure devotional service to only one, that is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna. For rest of others, what we are doing is called as upasana. So association means Vaishnava association. So human form of life is very, very, very rare, as Rahugana is confirmed. As he was well qualified, as we know the summary brief was that 5.13.21. Again, Jadabharata was describing about the allegorical story. There were the two kinds of allegorical stories Srimad Bhagavatam describes about. One is Puranjan Upakyana, and this is the another one where Jadabharata is describing to Raja Rahagan. Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra ki jai, Shri Shri Gaunitai ki jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra ki jai. So here we know that the Narada Muni also there in Prachin Bhatti, when he was describing about how to preach, not just one time, twice, thrice, repeating the same story again and again. Many times followers of Srila Prabhupada and the disciples, sometimes the outside people is to ask, Swamiji, why you are describing, quoting the same statement again and again, repeating the statement. Despite of I am repeating, Prabhupada is to say the answer, despite I am repeating that you people are not able to catch it. So because the Kali Yuga mind and the Kali Yuga mentality is Manda Sumanda Matyo Manda Bhagya Yugadritaha. So we have very short memory. And in that memory also, always we wanted to get enjoyment. Not to give the enjoyment to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, we want to be enjoyed by. Why he has to enjoy? That is the root cause of coming into this material world. Envious nature. As already we have discussed that. So he is telling about the thing Rahugana is hearing so nicely from King Jadabharat. So he summarized again in this 13th chapter as a merchant who is going into the forest to gaining his livelihood. And he is describing about whole story. It's like a allegorical story, how. And Rahagan understood, and then again he was pleading him. In the yesterday's verse, it was very beautifully narrated about conclusion of that. Please give it up. Detachment from this mortal world. That doesn't alone help us, one person, to become successful in his life. One has to attach to the positivity. That is, taking the shelter and the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. Develop that attachment. So further, he had given that 4 instructions which we narrated yesterday. Atmarangavan Prabhu very beautifully narrated that. And from today onwards, text number 21 to the end of this chapter, I think it is 26. Raja Rahagan is glorifying Jadabharat. And in that glorification part, the first and the foremost is he's glorifying about the human form of life. And especially in that human form of life, it is just like a being detachment from this mortal world, aloof from this material world. Neti, neti, neti. No. He's telling about one more thing, attached to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here he's telling about human form of life is the best of all. In the human form of life, one should get the association. Then how does this association help us? So I will take this as a topic today. I will go ahead in this topic. We will see the human form of life, which is a rare opportunity to get, that as we know, and what is the value of the association in this human form of life. As we know from Srimad Bhagavatam, there are the 3 concepts, aspects I will discuss. Is this human form of life is meant for enjoyment or elevation? Enjoyment in terms of the sense gratification. Otherwise, enjoyment can be given to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we have to understand this point. Either enjoyment for sense gratification or elevation oneself from this material world to the spiritual world. Because only human form of life can elevate. That is the only one. and the qualification, prerequisite. And later one should have the visa and passport also. That is just like association and practice a pure devotional service. And even when the person is there in amongst the devotees association, as we progress in this topic, we will see, still they can't take it very seriously. Just because of two reasons, we will understand. That is again same thing. Sense gratification, that is the root cause we have come into this mortal world. And other one is he is so much proud. Though he was there in the association of the pure devotees of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, even the Shakti-Avish Avatar, just like Srila Prabhupada, but still it's very, very tough to take it as a easy. That we see from the example. So is it meant for human life meant for sense gratification? Or elevation. Second, okay, many of the things we know that it has to be elevated from this dormitory life to material life to spiritual consciousness. So then, one should take the abundancy of the association. Association is there, it's very abundancy, and one has to just take it. If only a person can think, yes, this human form of life is very rare, and it is not meant for the sense gratification only, but for the elevation to the spiritual planet, Krishna Loka, Goloka, where Krishna association personally is there, and Yadgatvani nivartante taddamam paramamama. Once we have reached there, we will never come back again. Yes, we have to grab the abundancy of the association. Okay, human form of life is there, the association is there, but still, why there are so many people are unable to take the abundancy of this association, which is freely available? Yes, there are the two reasons which I have described that. Due to the sense gratification, and to enjoy deeper and the deeper and the deeper, as to be entangled just like a cocoon, and he wants to just die. Useless like of endeavors. But if you only think that, and another reason is so proud. Why I have to give? That is again the same thing. We are becoming envious. Why Krishna has to become so much enjoyful? Why he has to be having so much facilities? Why I have to serve him? As we discussed in the last, when I was describing about the class envious nature, when we are sitting in that Mercedes-Benz car, or whatever the top level class of car right now in the current scenarios existing in this mortal world, even with all kinds of the facilities, when we are sitting and we are driving very nicely and enjoying the same facilities like the owner who is sitting just back, just we are actually enjoying the driving the car. He is only just sitting, that's all. And most of the time we only sit as a driver. But why I have to so much assist this person? Why can't I enjoy my own self? The moment when he thinks that, and the owner get to know that, he will tell, my dear sir, thank you very much for your these many years of services. Okay, you take this much remuneration and extra throughout the life you can live, but you will not be as my driver. Get lost. The Krishna sent us here. So much proud. I want to be enjoy, and I have many things. I can do my own self. We can't do alone. Everything, whatever we are getting in that envious nature, we understood that. Even the other person is getting so much in tunings, in vocal, playing mridanga, speaking eloquently, poetry, Sanskrit literature, everything. It's a vibhuti of Krishna. If only we can able to understanding these all things are coming from Krishna, everything emanating is from Krishna, then how come there is a chance for becoming envious of that person? Rather we will feel that he is becoming the instrument of Krishna. So let me try to become as an instrument in my own way. There is a useful nature in the creation. As a carpenter uses all the tools accordingly. But he will make a beautiful altar. In the altar, if only the nail will think that only this Fevicol is becoming so much useful, let me become so much, that altar doesn't look very nicely. Neither even the nail also will be visible. Even the Fevicol also doesn't be visible. Only wood will be visible. But because of everyone is coming and cooperating with each other and together bond, then that beautiful mansion has been created. So that's what, when we become together, this human form of life can be utilized properly in the association of the devotees and serve the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. And at the end of this life, we can go back to Godhead very, very easily. Prabhupada says, of course, it is easier said than done, we may say. But Prabhupada says, Swamiji, this practicing spiritual life amongst the devotees association, it's becoming little quite tough. It's not so easy. Then Prabhupada says,
But living in this material world is impossible. Because it's temporary. And results are temporary. And whatever we are doing things, everything is an illusion. Just like in a mirage. But actually, Visana, in the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, first word, Urdhva Moolam Adashaka. So it's a perfected reflection of the spiritual happiness. So let us try for that spiritual happiness, not this temporary and which are going to be illusionary things. So is this human form of life is meant for enjoyment or elevation? It is meant for elevation. Try to see from the chapter 20, text number 17 from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto. Oh, it is stopped? Because many of verses, just because the preparation is only just I gathered all the text verses in together. Just we'll read from the translation. We will highlight how human form of life is very, very rare. And in that human form of life, how much importance of taking the association of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead. Nridehamadyam sulabam sudurlabam plavam sukalpam gurukarnadharam mayanakole nanabasvateriram puman bhavabdhim nataretsa atmaha. Translation. The human body which can award all benefits in life is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is very rare achievement, automatically obtained by the laws of nature. See, even we don't want to be successfully wanted to get the human form of life, we will get. Because it's nature's law, 84th life, species of the life. One after the other, when we are crossing through, yes, one day we will get the human form of life. But again, that's the reason it's very, very rare opportunity we have to utilize. By the laws of the nature, we will obtain this. Although it is very rare achievement, this human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat. It's a beautiful analogy. It's very, very nicely. This boat, like a samsara, is just like an ocean, and how we can able to cross. In order to cross the ocean, just we need a ship and we have to sit, and a perfect gentleman like a driver is needed. And just through the association of the devotees, we can easily cross over this. But only thing is we become so proud, just like a Titanic, it will come in the icebergs, beach mein aate rehte na, like spikes. So that will gives us the hindrance, sadhu, savadhan. Even in the national highway also. And in between, there are almost 2 to 3 meters or like 10 meters, the distance, there will be the jerking. So make us to be alert. Sometimes that's what, even on the Royal Road, there will be accidents. So we have to be we have to be very, very alert. So in the boat also, when we are getting perfect gentleman like a driver, the spiritual master is there, but still the spikes comes up. What are those things? Pride, sense gratification, ego, harishad varga, the 6 kinds of anarthas. So this human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as the captain. This human form of life is like a boat in the samsara dhavanala. And the boatman is, the driver is the spiritual master. As a captain, and the instructions of the personality of a Godhead is favorable winds, impelling on its course. Just like a boat can go, that's the reason, I will only just pick this one verse, because the sailor and the boat is had, and actually in order to move ahead, he doesn't go as per his desire. Can anybody say how he moves? Then only the boat will go and reach the destination. Can anybody guess it? He has to flow the wind, for the current of the wind. So here it is described. The instructions of the personality of a Godhead, the favorable winds, then it takes us to very, very easily to the destination. If only we want to go against, gone case. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize this human form of life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered as killer of his own self. Atmanaha. Our own self. We are the killer of our own self. We don't have that an opportunity. Even Prabhupada used to say that you cannot do suicide. Because this body you are not going to suicide. Because in this body the soul is going to be elevated, his consciousness, and go back to Godhead. So it has been responsibility is there. Then you have to perform pure devotional service and make it the soul elevated and to reunite with the super soul. So you have to give that abundance. Otherwise, even once leave this body of the human form of life, he can get through different species of life, one after the another. Again, as Prabhupada said, that through the natures of this human form of life automatically obtained by the laws of the nature, one period of time. But if a one person do commit mistake like committing suicide, Prabhupada writes in the purpose of Srimad Bhagavatam, it takes, I think, there is no scope at all, because he has to go to Raurava, hellish planets, and he has to live like there is no limitless for the time. So that is also not there in our hands. Just we have to follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which are just like a favorable winds impelling it to cross over this material nature. So that is a rare opportunity of the human form of life, and utilizing it's more important thing. Otherwise, we are the killer of the soul. Another verse from Canto 1, Chapter 2, text number 10. कामस्यनेन्द्रिय प्रीतिर्लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य तत्व जिज्ञासा नार्तो यश्चेह कर्मभिः. Life's desires should never be directed towards sense gratification. Okay, we got this human form of life, the spiritual master is there, the Supreme Godhead's winds like beautiful instructions are there, but nevertheless, one should not take familiarity with contempt. Then one has to become very, very serious. Life's desires should never be directed towards to the sense gratification. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchite. So Prabhupada writes in this purport of this today's verse that he is Hrishikesha. All the senses are the Hrishikesha and meant for to give the enjoyment to the Supreme Personality of God. Hrishikesha. Hrishikena Hrishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchite. So that's very. So never be directed towards to the sense gratification. Be careful. One should desire only a health life or self-preservation. Since a human being is meant for inquiring about the absolute truth, nothing else should be the goal of one's work. Yes, of course, because we have to perform this pure devotional service, yes, you can desire and you can express the desire in front of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please give me the good health. I can able to serve. But nevertheless, if it is coming according to our karma and all these things, it's okay. If it is not coming, just move on. Instructions of the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they are like winds. It allows us to easily move from this ocean of the nescience of this mortal world, samsara dhavana land. One day we will reach to the destination, that spiritual world, Goloka Vrindavan, back home, back to Godhead. So don't go for the sense gratification. What is stated in 5th canto, we will desire human form of life is for enjoyment or elevation. Canto 5, chapter 19, verse number 22. Recently we had crossed this, I think, verses. Yeah. So verse I'm not going further. This is like prose. It's not like a poetry. Translation: after many births, when a result of one's pious activities mature, one gets an opportunity to associate with a pure devotee. Human form of life is there. We are avoiding the sense gratification. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhaktirata Bija. So we got the results of one's pious activities and mature, get an opportunity to association with the pure devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And through them we will get an opportunity of practicing devotional service. So what one should do? One is able to cut the knot of the bondage or to ignorance which bounds him because of varied fruitive activities. Just by being in the association of the devotees, we can able to cut out of our anarthas and in our sense gratification things. We will learn what are the good samskaras to practice the pure devotional service, how to engage our senses, not in sense gratification, but into the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As a result of associating, what happens? With the devotees, one gradually renders service to Lord Vasudeva. So that is results we'll get when we are getting an opportunity to serve the Vaishnavas. When you are getting an association of the drunkard, yes, you will get very nice serving nature to drink more and more and more. Yes, the same nature is there. When we are associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead's pure devotees, then you will also get the same nature of developing good qualities of the devotional service, and you can able to say goodbye to the sense gratification. If only we don't want to do sense gratification, we want to elevate ourselves. Again, desire is ours. Choice is ours. Life is in between of these two alphabets, as we know that. B and D. B for birth, D for death. Only the choices what we are making in our life before death, after getting the birth, that makes our life is successful. Otherwise, punarapi mananam, punarapi jananam. As a result of associating with the devotees, one gradually renders service to Lord Vasudeva, who is transcendental, free from attachment to the material world, beyond the minds and words, and independent of everything else. That Bhakti Yoga, devotional service to Lord Vasudeva, is the real path of liberation, which is available only in the association of the devotees. And that can be possible only in the human form of life. Otherwise, rest, sense gratification, everything is available in all species of life. Only thing, devotional service, pure devotional, unmotivated, uninterrupted, unconditional devotional service can be performed in the form of human life, in the association of the pure devotees of the Lord. So running a little faster. So human form of life is very rare, and it is not meant for sense gratification, not for enjoyment, but giving the enjoyment to the Supreme Person of the Godhead. We have to be enjoyed by the Supreme Lord and elevate our consciousness and go back to Godhead. Okay, then if it is elevation, as we saw, yes, importance of the association. And we saw that. And even right now in our Bhagavad Bhakti Vaibhav, the 3rd canto, chapter 25th, which we are narrating from Kardama Muni and Devahuti's family life story. Devahuti says, alas, I found a beautiful husband, but the thing is, he's a saint, he's a pure devotee of the Lord. I have utilized my entire life for sense gratification. But if only I would have utilized it for elevate my consciousness into the spirituality, I would have got higher benefits. So she regrets, rather being grateful, she has become regretful. But nevertheless, from this Bhagavatam, we have to understand that how we should not misutilize the life of human form of life in the association of the devotees especially, and not committing the same mistakes, but try to rectify and reunite with our super soul, the Supreme Personality of the Godhead. And even the association, how it helps a person to understand is, then later on, of course, Devahuti lamented, then after that, she been in touch with her good son, the Lord only, the Kapila Muni, and she regained her consciousness and elevated her consciousness, and she went back to Godhead. Like another example which comes in Dhruva Maharaj and Narada Muni. Of course, he wanted to be enjoyed the kingdom, like greater than his great grandfather, the Brahmaji. But nevertheless, coming in contact with the pure devotee of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, Srila Narada Muni, the pure devotee, the spiritual master, the Suhrud. He performed tapasya and everything, but at the end, when he got darshan of the Supreme Personality of the Godhead, what happened? He transformed, and he asked, oh, I got that gold, diamond and rubies, but thing is, I was asking for the broken pieces of the glasses. So that's why association makes us to become mold ourselves. Of course, it's very, very tough challenges. Just like when we are coming, the granite and the diamonds will come into to make it a polishing. It has to put in the grinding machine. And what happened? Just like because of the rubbing each other, the external coating will remove, and the dazzling shining, the crystal clear shining of the the diamond will comes out. As His Grace Sri Kumar Krishna Prabhu, long back when he had given the first class Srimad Bhagavatam in NVCC, he had given a very beautiful narration of aloo peeling machine. Yes, this aloo peeling machine, how it is helping each other, that aloos when you are being, that inside the sandpaper will be there, not normal paper, it is sandpaper. As soon as you just put like this, it's not so smooth, it is very, very rubbing, and your skin, if you can touch like this simply, the blood will come. That only helping the peeling to nicely, and it's coming out of beautiful aloos. Then you can able to cut it nicely and make nice dish out of that, the aloo, and offer it to Krishna, and Krishna will relish. If only you can able to put all aloos, just like a cutting and giving you sabji, how you will feel? Beech mein aate rehte na, peeling. What is this? Kitchen people or else whoever, when it is a home we will chastise mother. In the family life, okay, the wife has to get chastisement. And in a bachelor life, the other roommate has to get chastisement. So that's what the purification happens, and the role of association is very, very helpful in elevating our consciousness and send us back home, back to Godhead. Third, why we are unable to take such kind of association? Two reasons. One is due to the sense gratification, another one is due to pride. Examples. Again, taking as an example from Srimad Bhagavatam, again the topic of Mother Devahuti and Kardama, from 23rd chapter, 54 to 57 verses, and canto 3rd. So I'm not going into the details, but the same thing, we all know the pastime of Devahuti. Again, same thing, she was indulged in all enjoyment, lavishly, and he created a aerial mansion and everything. She enjoyed abundant that life. And where before he is leaving, she has lamented, oh, I didn't get the devotion service because you are a saint and you are a pure devotee of the Lord. So give me that. Okay, you go for the renunciation, but award me the son. So then Kapila awarded her the pure devotional service. But just because of the sense gratification, she didn't took the golden opportunity of Kardama Muni's association from the beginning onwards. So that's what the Bhagavatam giving us an opportunity to learn the things. Of course, these are not the spots on the character of Devahuti and Kardama, but it is teaching us. So Bhagavatam is teaching us with their own example. Only Krishna teaches us. Just like a mother wants to teach us, she will never teach us through the daughter-in-law. She will teach to the daughter-in-law through her daughter. Though the daughter never did mistakes, but still, she has to undergo such kind of chastisement. Just like before this chapters in 3.9, if I'm not wrong, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Brahmaji, most of the times it comes, Brahma running behind a walk. Prabhupada writes in the purport, such a great personality who is the creator of this universe, the first person, how can he can be misunderstood and how can he do such kind of mistakes? Even such great personalities can do certain things, there is a reason behind that. Nothing happens without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. So like the Prabhupada writes that, but nobody should find any sparks. So but still, that's the reason Krishna is teaching through them. We will understand, see, Brahma vaisa hai, Indra vaisa hai, Chandra vaisa hai. So it's not like that, just teaching us. That means we have to understand how much we are distant from Krishna. Though Krishna loves everyone, so he's teaching to his devotees from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Second one is Ravana. He's having a beautiful association in his dynasty, like his own brother Vibhishan was there, he's a devotee. And his own good wife Mandodari, he's a chaste lady. During the time of, he wants to enjoy the sense gratification, running behind Mother Sita. What happened? Everybody is guiding him, but not taking that abundance association of the devotees. Mother Mandodari has told, didn't listen. Vibhishan told, didn't listen. Just because of sense gratification. He wants to enjoy his own senses. And one more example is there for the pride. Daksha versus Shiva. During he is performing the yajna, and though father didn't call the daughter, but still they came. But of course before that only, because he was in the meditation. Again this comes in the Brahma still, like why Shiva will become sitting posture and doing meditation. So actually you are creating such kind of disturbances. Just go out from this place and do meditation. So that's why he's always meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then Daksha felt so uneasy. That person is not getting up when I have come into the assembly. So he is becoming so pride. Because of that he didn't took the association of the Shiva. Shiva is Vaishnavanam Yatashambhu. And we know from Srila Prabhupada, as I told in the beginning, during the land issue was going on in the Juhu, Mr. N, the pure devotees association was there, but because of he's so proud, he's envious, and he's wanted to enjoy his own things, so just he had given a lot of trouble to Srila Prabhupada and our movement, and that's what, he didn't took the association of the Srila Prabhupada, which is very easily available at the time, personally. Now everyone is hankering. If only I would have little more earlier joined, I would have saw Srila Prabhupada, like how many people are regretting. So like that, but the thing is, Mr. N having that opportunity, but he lost it. So in this way, we saw that human form of life is meant for not for enjoyment or the sense gratification. It is only for the elevated ourselves to back to Godhead. And in that, the role of association is very, very important. And some of the people, just we saw, because of the sense gratification and pride, one will never take the association, which our Raja Rahugana is explaining that this human birth is the best of all. Even birth among the demigods is the heavenly planet is not as glorious as birth in the human form of life being on this earth. What is the use of the exalted position of a demigod in the heavenly planets due to profuse material comforts which diverts us to sense gratification is not possible for the associating with the devotees. So lastly, just 2 minutes I will take, which is very beautiful. What happens in the association of the devotees? Those who are having time just can please sit, and otherwise just they can move. It's a beautiful association we found that. So what does it mean that association helps us? When we are there in the association of the devotees, association should help us. ASSOCIATION. This association should help us. Then only that is called as association. Otherwise, it is not the association. As we know that bhakti is meant for only Krishna and it's a pure devotional service. Otherwise, it's not bhakti. Then if the association is not giving us these things, then it's not an association. Of course, this is I'm not getting from my own self. Every time people used to say that nice acronyms. This is not my acronym. What is there in this Subodhini? I made it formation of the association. A stands for, when we are in the association of the devotees, it makes us to achieve the highest perfection of transcendental knowledge. It gives us the highest perfection of the transcendental knowledge. Reference 5.1.6. So I'm not going very detailed. So just I'm giving the references also, because time is very short in the Bhagavatam. S stands for, during the association of the Vaishnavas, in the association of the devotees, when we are there, the spark of spirit of renunciation comes from this mortal world. It should be happen in the association of the devotees. Then only we can consider that is an association. And the another S which stands for, for this first S, 5.1.36. When you read the purport, you will understand what is the call of spirit of renunciation should develop in the association of the devotees. And another one is, during the association of the Vaishnavas, we become the sinners in this mortal world, becomes completely purified. When we are taking the Ganges, the bath, we will get purified. In the association of the Vaishnavas, yes, our all sinful reactions and the sins get be purified. 6.1.16. Wo stands for, during the association of the devotees, only this association of the Vaishnavas, the devotees, which opens the doors for liberation. There is no other choice. One has to take the shelter of the Vaishnavas, to say the association of the devotees. 5.5.2. C, which stands for, during the association, as we saw the example of the aloo peeling machine, which cleanses the heart more quicker than when you are taking bath in the Ganges. Once in a while you will go into the Mahakumbha, Kumbha, Ardha Kumbha, Purna Kumbha, whatever it is. But when you are there in the association of the devotees, it's a quicker cleanliness of your heart. It should be happen. I stands for, our all misconceptions and the illusion will destroy. I will give. And A, attain the platform of the pure devotional service within short moment of time. As we saw, being the association of the Srila Prabhupada, as the disciples, how they are attained, especially, of course, I cannot take the names of the devotees, because every one of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. And the T, which transformed the heart, becoming not Basanubas, wanted to become the servant of the servant of the servant. Example is Dhruva Maharaj, after attaining everything, he is aspiring for, I wanted the association of the Vaishnavas. He wanted to be the king, greater than his own great-grandfather, Brahma, wanted to be a master. But he understood, no, I wanted to be a servant of the servant of the servant. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur, Das, 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 Das. That is T, one has to get transformed his heart. I, the illusory energy of the Supreme Personality of a Godhead, that Vibhuti, everything in this mortal world, as Krishna and Arjuna understood in the 11th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And intelligence is getting bewildered and everything will be conquered in the association of the Vaishnavas. And as today's verse, 5.13.21, which gives, Rahagana is telling that it is one becoming so fortunate coming in contact of the association. Because again, it is giving us an opportunity to elevate our consciousness and sending us back home, back to Godhead. Finally, N, which stands for amongst the Vaishnavas, what happens is always describing about Krishna Katha. Nadamani says that Naham Tishtani, so in that sloka he says that I am not there in temples or everywhere, whatever we are thinking, but wherever my devotees are glorifying me, wherever my devotees are describing about my childhood pastimes and my lifestyle, and he's learning from that. So, Tatta Tishtami Narada. So, I am there. So, always amongst the devotees, what they used to do is narrate the Krishna Katha. So, in this way, this human form of life and the association is very, very rare. Use it before you lose this opportunity. And just like Mother Devahuti, as being regretful, please don't be regretful, but always be grateful whatever this opportunity you are getting, and enthusiastically participate in Krishna consciousness and make your life successful and go back home, back to Godhead. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Grandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I'm seeking the blessings and pardon for taking 5 minutes more, and I'm begging forgiveness. Spoke beyond my capacity and my limitation, my experience, but nevertheless, Bhagavatam is always pure, and hearing will always purify our heart. And please bless so that I can able to participate what I will spoke. Hare Krishna.